Welcome to the Financial Planners Southeast Asia podcast, a show dedicated to driving the positive evolution of financial advice, specifically within Southeast Asia. To join a global community of financial advisors sharing and learning with one another to drive the positive evolution of financial advice, head to xyadvisor.com. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Financial Planners Southeast Asia podcast. Gwen here, and today I have a very special guest. I am with Linnet Lee, and she is the CEO of the Financial Planning Association of Malaysia. So, Linnet, thank you so much for being in the show today.
Thank you, Gwen, and thank you for the invitation. Greetings to everyone from around the world, I would say, because I understand from Gwen, some of you come as far as Dubai. And I hope you are having a fantastic Friday. Today, we are going to talk about the evolution of financial planning in Malaysia.
Yes, definitely. So, but before we get into that, Lynette, I would like the audience to get to know you more. So, I guess my first question for you is, how did you get into the financial advice industry?
I started being a tied agent in unit trust. Made all the wrong moves. I was encouraged to become a financial planner so that I can earn my own commission, which is not a good move because I realized that to be able to do well in unit trust, you need to have the competency. So and you're not a very good consultant to yourself. So I don't encourage people to do that. I would say it's better that you get a unit trust consultant, or if just like in financial planning, you can blindside yourself. It's better to get a second opinion from another financial planner. I do that too. So anyway, I started in financial planning. I started in the financial industry by being a tied agent, and I enjoyed what I did. I am quite a compliant person, so I followed almost everything, but there were habits that I picked up, which I felt today, looking back, it could have been better. So along the way, what I did was, as I served my clients, I find that they had a wider scope of needs. And I actually worked with insurance agent to recommend insurance. I did pick up a license for myself because my agreement with my principal says that I cannot take another license without an approval while I'm holding my unit trust agreement. So that's how I started. And then after that, I started adding on financial products which my client requested. The reason why they asked me to help them to source is because they didn't want to talk to anyone else. Their personal informations are all with me. And it's a natural progression into financial planning because when you start marketing or rather picking up products for them, one fine day, I just realized that, hey, how does this gel together? How do the pieces of the puzzle fit together? And that's when I took up the financial planning certification, which is the CFP program. Which was very big in Malaysia back then, and it had global recognition, and that's why I picked it up. I have no regrets because not only did it benefit my clients back then, it also benefited me personally because today I'm debt-free, and I'm so happy being debt-free. Yeah. So yes, I wanted to help more people to have this realization. So I moved into financial planning. Then eventually I headed a financial planning division of a financial planning firm, a boutique firm. And and I liked it because I was able to help people on a company basis, the planners that were onboarded by the company. Eventually there was a vacancy in FPAM, Financial Planning Association of Malaysia. And I say, hey, why not? It's a natural progression from a company to nationwide to help more people. But it opened up a whole new world to me, and that's where I am now today.
Yes. So am I correct? 7 years in FPAM?
Coming to 8 by January next year.
Amazing. So 8 years. Oh my gosh. And so you started in 2014. How did the financial planning industry grow from when you started to now?
Okay, so 2014, begin mode, because I joined in January, not end mode.
Yeah.
So, okay, by the time I joined in 2014, we had 2 regulators back then already. One was Securities Commission, issuing license for financial planning, and the Central Bank of Malaysia approving representative for financial advice. So what happened then in 2014 when I joined, Securities Commission recognized the CFP certification program and the Islamic Financial Planning Planner certification program for licensing. Whereas the Bank Negara, the central bank, recognized they call it registered financial planner. It's a local certification, as well as the Sharia registered financial planner certification for FA. Along the way, I can't remember which year, but they decided to harmonize the recognition of qualification, professional qualification. So it made life easier. Means if you have any of these 4, and one more, a very, very long time, the CHFC, Chartered Financial Consultant from the insurance industry, that one too. So with these 5 certifications, if you apply with either the central bank or with the Securities Commission, you can get yourself licensed as a financial planner or approved as a financial advisor rep. So you are going to ask me, hey, Linnet, what's the difference?
Yes. Oh, I think I've been corrected a bunch of times with this. Financial advisors only can only provide insurance advice. Is that it?
And, in Malaysia, yeah.
And yes, in Malaysia, and financial planners can do the whole life financial planning, can offer different products from different companies and all that stuff.
Let's go a little deeper into that.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, so a financial planner, when you have a license in financial planning in Malaysia, you could actually draw up a financial plan, be a comprehensive or a modular plan. And if you never implemented any products, you just make recommendation in the plan, you can charge a fee and sign off the plan. Whereas if you have a FA, you're approved as a financial advisor rep, you can't charge fees. And you normally bundle products based on clients' needs, goal-based advice, and you give a recommendation, and it follows by product. So if you ask me what is the difference, well, financial planner does plans plus they recommend plus they implement, which is what advisors do. So it's a little bit it's extended. It's kind of like from cradle to grave.
Yes, so it's it has more impact in a person's financial life and for their lives in general to have a financial planner, because they can provide all types of financial advice. Yes, holistic financial advice. Yes.
Yes, and is while the numbers of planners, people who do actual planning, is growing, but at the moment there are more advisors than there are planners. However, the planners, they do more than that. They are not about crunching numbers and analyzing your financial situation and telling you what to do. They actually walk you through your life, your dreams and your goals. And on top of that, they do counsel their clients, and they are also able to help their clients crystallize their thoughts and prioritize their goals. So this is where this is the extended or the comprehensive service that a financial planner gives. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other. There's totally nothing wrong if you say, no, I'm not interested in doing the planning. I'm only interested in doing the advice. It's perfectly okay. More importantly is how you work and how professional you are in conducting yourself.
Yes, that's true. Because you are bringing the name of the financial advice industry in general with you at all times, right?
Exactly. So that was this is why we set out to have clarity, and we're happy to say that even the Financial Planning Standards Board, the owner of the CFP mark outside of the US, they are also encouraging the 26 territories affiliate members to also consider looking at it. Although countries who are entrenched with the term financial advisors, is a little bit trickier to make that change. But newer organizations that territories that just come up, they are actually encouraging them to make a differentiation. Because if we ourselves as financial planning professionals are not clear, how are we going to give clarity to the public, to our people? So that's when in 2014, when I joined, we started having clarity of roles, definitions. And then the other thing that came in was the remuneration, fees or commission. Now, if you look at take two steps back and look at the world, people in UK, countries like UK, India, as well as Australia, they are fee-based.
Yes.
And in US,
here in the Philippines.
Philippines,
yes.
What is it like?
It's more on commission-based. Yes.
Okay. We started commission-based. US is a hybrid, and Malaysia started having a hybrid in the sense that there are fees and there are commission. One of the questions that was raised by the regulator during our dialogue sessions is, should we be moving towards fees? And my answer was that it depends on what we want to see. Because if you were to chop off commission, you would definitely see a huge drop in the number of people. People who don't want to do planning, they will drop off. And the experience from Australia is no one wanted to serve clients. There's no one to serve clients because there are no commission. Yeah. And people did not want to register as a advisor. So India can afford to do that because the population is large and they have there are quite, even though the larger has dropped off, but the ones that remaining were able to continue to serve the community. So my short answer to regulators is, why don't we do a transition? Meaning that instead of go to cold turkey and do that, why don't we do it step by step? First, we educate, and then after that, we encourage. Then later on, the regulation can come in. So I think they kind of like that idea, and that's why if you look from 2017 onwards, we had joint action plan. Actually, I like to pause here for a moment and acknowledge Securities Commission as well as Bank Negara, because they actually consult us when they want to make changes, the industry players, and it helps because then there is a dialogue and there is feedback. Yeah,
that's true, because you guys are the ones who are really like on the ground listening to what's happening in the industry.
And there are two ways to look at it. One is we can give feedback, and the regulators can decide how to move forward. However, if there will always be some people who are resistant to change, and they will say, no, this holds, this is how it should be. But there will be people who will be pushing to move forward. So it depends on which voice is louder.
Yes, that is true. That's true for all sorts of things, right?
Yes. So from 2017 to 2019, the Securities Commission, SC as I call it for short, they led a joint action plan for these 3 years, for which we roll out two main initiatives. One was more of empowering consumers, and the second, so that is for the public at large. and to educate them about financial planning, as well as also the importance of financial literacy and how financial planning can help them in their lives. And the other area was raising the bar of financial planning profession. So within those two initiatives, one of the main activity that was very significant was the start of what we call a Fin Plan for You. This is a one-to-one public consultation. Now, this one is initiated by Securities Commission during their, they call it Invest Smart Fest. This one is aligned with the World Investor Week by IOSCO. So it was very interesting. To showcase the skills of the financial competency of financial planners, we had that time it was on ground. We had financial planners. They were altogether 200 over financial planners. They took turns to sit at the table and offer their complimentary services 1 hour per public to come and talk about their personal finances. No products. No pushing products, no pushing services, just pure talking about the public's financial situation. So that was fantastic. I take my
it's such a great initiative.
Yes. So that one started and we're doing it every year since then. It also coincided with World Financial Planning Day, which is the first Wednesday in October every year. So we're planning for next year.
Yes, I've the first time that I saw that was actually a post from a licensed financial planner in Malaysia, Kevin Neo's post. He made a month-long post starting in the Financial Planning Day of October. So that was very interesting as well.
Kevin has been one of the most hardworking member that we have. Yes, he'll do talks, he'll do webinars, he'll do podcasts. We are in the midst of developing a employee financial wellness workshop together with BFM, our premier radio station. We have actually rolled it out. This is a series of financial planning workshops for employees. This because we wanted to empower more public, so we are getting companies to pay for their staff to come and learn about personal finances. So that one we are in the midst of approaching more companies to take it up. So that let me put that aside. Maybe we can talk another day just about financial literacy.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But yes, do go on.
Yeah. So that was between 2017 and 2019. We had that. We also had a sponsorship program to certify more people to do financial planning. Because if you look at Malaysia, currently we have about licensed financial planners. We have about 1,001 as of end of 2020. If I do the numbers based on the population that we have, and if I look at just people in the median income group, my personal opinion is that we would probably need about 60 over 1,000 licensed financial planners. And hey, it's a sunrise industry. I'm so excited.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So these are the group of people who would benefit from some form of advice or planning so that they can lead better lives. And nothing works well as when a country's population is financially stable. It will help the economy. It will help the country.
100%. Yes, that is so true. And that's why I've always been an advocate for financial planning, because it benefits everyone, right? So I think I mentioned this before offline, before we recorded the podcast, that yes, it definitely benefits everyone. So there's still a lot more slots to go, right? So between and yes, being a sunrise industry, it is definitely exciting times.
Yes. I look forward to the day when parents will tell the children, why don't you become a financial planner?
Yes, it's one of the most coveted.
Yes, none of us started life saying that we want to be lawyers, doctors, accountants, but we never said we wanted to be a financial planner. Well, that should change. I think that should change. You touch people's life positively. You touch your own life, and you're financially more stable. You help more people. I think
that's true.
It's a very noble profession. I'm looking forward to my retirement, and then I'm going to go take license and practice again.
Practice again. Wow, that's amazing. So yes, and it's definitely so that's so true, because this this career isn't just for young people, right? Like, unlike some careers that we really need to be a lot younger in order to practice well, but here it's open to any age, just as long as you have the passion for it, the passion to help people with their finances and their lives.
Yes, you need passion, you need competency, you need experience. And if you put that all together, that's your what, and one more, professionalism. Yes. That is the secret recipe to being a successful financial planner. So, moving on to what happens in 2020 to 2022. Okay. So by 2019, we have already completed the 3-year action plan, which is a joint action plan. Then we came to the second edition of the SC-led joint action plan. And for this one, in 2020, there were another 2 initiatives that we're looking at. One was expansion of financial planning license, and the other one was upholding professional standards. And the outcome from this one is that now people with financial planning license, they do not have to take any more license. They just need to add on their competency, taking certain exams that's required by the regulators, and you can expand to recommend stocks as well as bonds. So, which is good, which means you do not have to hold too many licenses. That's one part. That one was completed in October 2020. And in 2021, we also completed 2 out of the 3 areas. And the second initiative, in terms of professional standards, we have 4 financial planning associations. And these 4 associations harmonize our code of ethics as well as our best practices. And we came up with a set just for licensed financial planners. We presented it to our regulator, who accepted it, and we have rolled it out to all the 4 associations members, especially for those who are licensed. One more area which takes a bit more time to develop is the firm operating standards. And I understand that it's not just in Malaysia, but in other countries as well. The common things that we see is so-called pinching staff, pinching talents, and firms not happy with their planners not happy with their firms. So we thought that if there's a well thought out basic firm operating standards, this would help to eliminate all of this, because then there'll be proper structure, processes in place. So this one we had to pull import talents. We got this lady who is Hannah. She is from Australia. She used to be a financial advisor, but now she's focused on compliance. So she actually agreed to volunteer to help us, because while she is in Australia, but she's also a Malaysian.
Ah, nice. So she already has the knowledge that she got from the Australian financial advice. And
Yes. So we told her we want to at least have a basic standards for us to be able to help, so that anyone who takes up the financial planning license with the regulator, they know how to structure their company well, so that they are able to serve their planners better. And because planners here currently are on contract, they are not employed yet. Although there are some companies who have started employing. Unlike India actually hire their planners. And so does some countries, like in Australia. I hope to see people actually hiring financial planners in Malaysia. More of them.
Yeah, so that it becomes like a more stable job for people, and more people would like to join in and become financial planners as well.
Yes, they have a steady source of income. They can focus on their clients, and then they could get performance bonus. I think that would be good.
That would be good. That would be good.
But that needs a lot of work. We still have some hard work along the way, but I believe it's worth it. I think it's worth it. So
yes.
Another piece of good news in 2021 is on the 29th of September, Securities Commission announced that there's going to be consolidation of licenses for financial planners and financial advisors, which means because currently when you want to practice in Malaysia, that is very common for people to hold two licenses. Yes. Because one is so that you can also recommend and implement insurance. The other one is to do planning as well as capital market products. So if there is a consolidation, you only need one license. But we are in a very preliminary stages. The two regulators are discussing it, and everyone is holding their breath, waiting to hear what's going to come out from it. Another exciting development in financial planning.
Yes, and hopefully all of these changes would help encourage people to again become financial planners, and for existing financial planners to make their jobs easier so that they can focus on their clients.
Yes, that's right. They don't have to worry about fulfilling CPD points here and there, and then paying licenses here and there. Renewal of license is just one rather than multiple.
Yeah.
So the other thing I just want to touch very briefly on is the fact that we have 4 financial planning associations in Malaysia, and people are asking why and how are they all positioned. I used to scratch my head when I first started. Then now I understand better. So just take 2 steps back and just look. Basically, in most countries, there will always be 2. Why 2? One is normally a certifying body. The other one is a membership body. So the certifying body is an association that offers the professional qualifications. The membership body is the one that helps the people, the financial planners, to practice. So in Malaysia, we have 4 is because insurance has been in Malaysia long before financial planning. So they used to have one certifying body which does as I said earlier, the CHFC. However, sometime in 2007, they stopped because Malaysian government had a local, which is the RFP. So because of that, the CHFC do not exist in Malaysia anymore. But what the association did, they reinvent themselves, and in 2008, they renamed themselves Malaysian Financial Planners and Advisors Association. They don't do certification. What they focus on is financial planning practice management. So it is a membership body that focus and help the planners and advisors in financial planning practice management. Now, FM came in 1999, and at that time we brought in a CFP, and we worked with the local body, which is IPFIM, Institute of Banking and Finance Malaysia, which is supported by the 2 regulators, which is the Central Bank and Securities Commission. And our focus is on 3 pillars, as you said so before this podcast. One is on certifications and the administration of it. Second is industry development. And when we say industry development as a whole, that's why we work very closely with regulators. And the third one is public financial literacy, which you said that you like that portion of it.
Yes, definitely.
Then we have Malaysian Financial Planning Council. This is the body that looks after the local certification, which is the RFP and the Sharia RFP. For a while, people thought that we were competitors. In a way we are, and yet we are not, because we do recognize an MFPC qualification as a pathway to the CFP program. So we do give them a 2-module exemption if they have the MFPC certification, the RFP certification. So last but not least, in 2011, the Association of Financial Advisors was formed. They support the financial advisors or rather they support firms, financial advisory firms. They represent financial advisors, and when they approach regulators and stakeholders. So in a way, we all play our different roles, and that's why there are 4 associations in Malaysia.
Yeah. So I'm one of those people who have also scratched their heads when I first actually interviewed my first Malaysian financial planner here in the show, because I think my first guest was Kevin. So Kevin was my first guest to the show, and he did mention all these the
Names.
regulators. Yes, and it's like, I need to research this more. So it's really great that you did expound on these in a more in an easier to digest fashion, because other countries will be listening to this as well, and it would be good to understand how the financial planning industry works in say here in Malaysia. So yes, that's actually very interesting. And I guess um, oh, I had a second question for you. So now that we know more about the financial planning industry, I guess a different question would be like, how does my Malaysian financial planners actually, or what are their different approaches in helping their clients?
Okay. Well, different financial planning firms have got different models. The most common, you would see them pick a particular area and they move from that. And I'll give you an example. For example, if, and predominantly for firm owners who come from an insurance background, then they will come from the protection aspect of financial planning. And from there, they will review the client's protection needs and all that, and then they will start introducing, okay, protection is important, but why is it important? How it fits into the whole financial planning puzzle, and what are the other areas you need to look at. Whereas it's very common to see those who come from either a unit trust or an investment angle. They'll talk about investment, how important investment is, but with investment alone itself, it's not good enough. You need to hinge your investment to a goal that you want. And then you need to do the protection part. And also you need to do the estate planning, because at the end of the day, if anything happens to you, what is going to happen to the investment that you have? Because your protection part would have covered, would have actually ensured that, whatever that you are unable to fulfill, it would have been fulfilled. But where is it going to go? How is it going to go?
Yeah.
And then tax planning comes in. So we do see accounting firm-backed financial planning firms coming from the taxation and accounting angle as well.
Yes. So I actually interviewed one recently, KR Bolts. So it was very, our podcast was also an eye-opening, because I actually never thought about taxation and tax planning too.
KP Boss, is it? You spoke to?
Yes, KP Boss.
Yes. He was our board member in the earlier years. Yes.
Yes.
He's very good. In fact, he is one of our advocates for financial literacy to the public.
Yes, definitely. He's very passionate about it, and what financial planners can actually do for people and for the industry, and what and the future as well. So we talked about it in a podcast. So that was also very interesting. But yes, Linnet, please do go on what you talked about.
So how do we, what did we do? One of the things that I felt was important, and the board also supported the initiative, is we said that we need to strengthen the financial planning profession. We also need to educate the public in regards to financial planning. So in early 2014, we came up with a little booklet on how financial planning is financial planning for you. And in it, because there are a lot of other financial professionals in the market, there's tied agents, their advisors, their relationship managers, their financial planners, their financial advisor representative. So we had this little booklet, which gave a snapshot of the different financial professionals and the role that they play and who they regulate and represent for the public, so that they have some clarity.
Oh, that's wonderful. And how has that translated now? Like, what was the effect for that project?
Well, for starters, we actually had a lot of financial planners who actually made use of this to go out and talk to their clients, which is exactly what we want them to do. Because to us, education is everything. And they were very good, because then they tell their clients, once you're clear, please pass the booklet to the next person.
That's good. That's good. And yes, because I think one of the things that have hindered, as whatever I can see here in the Philippines, have hindered people from reaching out to financial planners is they're actually intimidated by financial planners in the first place, because they thought that
they sell products.
Yes, they sell products, and that they are intimidated by the fees that they may charge. So they don't know. They won't ask. They won't even ask, because they thought that financial planners are just for the rich people. We can't afford their fees, which is, I think, very unfortunate. So being able to go out there and educate people what financial planners can actually do, and even like how they charge, is very beneficial.
And we need every one of the listeners out there to say the same thing as we do, so that we are all on the same page.
Yes.
And this is where I always position, because once upon a time I used to hold license, and I'm dying to get back to holding a license. I always explain that those who are a lower income group, they need basic money management, budgeting, and debt management. This is an area which they need a lot of help.
Yes.
The super rich or the high net worth and ultra high net worth clients, they don't need financial planning, because they have all this money. What do they need? They need wealth management. They need wealth planning. They need succession planning. And for those who have businesses, they will probably need family office, family governance. So it is actually the median income that need the financial planning more. And the market is normally bigger in the medium income group.
Yes, that's true. And I just want to include this in the podcast, because if there are non-financial planners listening to this, I actually listened to one of your previous podcasts. It's from Podcat. I don't know if you remember, but
Yes.
you talked about financial literacy there, and then you talked about it in a very simple manner. And I actually shared this to some of my friends. So because I still have, I'm a financial advocate who still has friends who does not believe in financial advice. So I've sent it to them actually to help them understand the beauty of financial planning and how to start. So yes, I definitely agree that there are different categories of people that need different types of help.
Oh wow, Gwen! I didn't know that the podcast was done years ago.
Yes, and it's still like it has evergreen content. Yeah, it's still valid until today.
So have you interviewed Steve Young?
Not yet. Yes, so I will look that up. So I'll look him up. Yes, but yeah, I'll also for the listeners here in the podcast, I will link to the podcast episode that I mentioned in the podcast description, so you can also check it out.
It's really, really heartening to know that it has reached out to people and made a difference. I must thank you, Gwen. Really appreciate that.
No problem. So it's actually really, it's always a great feeling for me to know that there are a lot of people there out there who care so much about the financial well-being of other people. So it starts with these podcasts. It starts with you being passionate about what you do, that you create all of these things and take these initiatives for financial planners in order for them to help their clients and other people as well.
Very good. Just
Yeah.
one, can I add, do I have time for just one last bit of survey of the consumer survey?
Oh, no problem. Take your time. Please let us know.
All right. We started one in 2015. This one was initiated by Financial Planning Standards Board, and Malaysia had our own set of questions to ask. But the outcome in 2015 came as we asked consumers to, or rather the public, to tell us what are the top 5 financial planning services of interest to them. And back in 2015, the top one was retirement planning. The second one was investment planning. Third was budgeting, cash management, and debt management, all in one. Fourth is insurance services and planning. Last but not least was to complete a financial planning roadmap. Now, in 2018, under the Joint Action Plan, remember the first Joint Action Plan by Securities Commission?
Yep.
We kind of repeated this study, but we couldn't get back. We had about 1,000 over respondents. We couldn't get back the same people because the research company, they did not want to do for us in Malaysia, so we did it on our own. But we still had 1,000 over respondents. The demography was younger than the one in 2015. So we repeated that. And in 2018, we found things have changed a little. The top number 1 rank financial planning service that they wanted was debt management and building a emergency fund.
Is that because of the demographic, you think, or because of the times?
I think there are 2 key components that we are looking at. One is demography, and second, because from 2015 to 2018, there were a lot of financial education initiatives done by almost many quarters, not just FPAM, but a lot of other organizations as well, which is a much, much, much welcome one. And because of that, that's why we see a progression. And the progression is that people are talking about budget, cash flow, debt management coming to the forefront. And financial planning came out third from the 5th position.
That's good.
Followed by protection planning. And I felt that to me, I see this as a progression. And perhaps I think another 1 or 2 more years, we should run another round of survey to find out.
Yes, I was going to ask if this survey was run anytime last year during the pandemic, if the pandemic has caused a lot of change in how people think about their finances. But it would also be a really good idea to run it now that we're in the recovery phase. Yes,
because I would say, number one, everyone was scrambling to manage the pandemic. So not much time. And I don't see a significance because you know why? Pandemics don't happen every time. So it may not, the outcome may not be significant.
Yeah.
It will be significant to see what happens during a pandemic, yes. But if we want to do a tracking, it will be more significant to track after that and see what changed when a pandemic happens.
Yes, and that's very interesting because I know that there was a lot of, there was a big shift in the priorities that people had in the wake of the pandemic. So yes, I believe that would be very interesting to see if there's a difference or if it's still the same, if it's still debt management that's number 1 on the list.
Don't be surprised, it still stays.
But
the pandemic changed one thing, the income classification. Pre-pandemic level for Malaysia, we had the lower income group as 40%, middle income group as another 40%, and the upper income group as 20%. But putting a finger to the pulse, we sense, and also through speaking with stakeholders, we have that feeling that the lower income group has gone on to 50% rather than 40% because of the pandemic. And surprises of all surprises, the top top income group from 20 increased to 30.
Ah, yes, that's very interesting because we did feel that here in the Philippines too. I feel like, yes, a lot of people may have, unfortunately, been struggling really hard during the pandemic, but there are a lot of people as well who have strived because of it. So,
Yes.
yeah, and it would be interesting to learn why the number changed.
Well, for people who have money, they throw into the stock market, they buy assets. And because nothing is permanent, what goes up, what comes down goes up, what goes up comes down. So as we're going into the recovery stage, if you picked up assets during the down, almost rock bottom, you have big money now.
The heaven for stock. For those who had money to buy stocks, definitely.
Exactly.
And and that
so
changed.
It's not surprised to see from the top 20 became the top 30%. The squeeze then came is the painful part is the middle income is now only 20%.
So yes, because the rest, the 10% went to, oh, okay.
10% moved down, 10% moved up.
Yeah. So definitely interesting numbers. But what would be the best course of action for financial planners viewing that kind of data for course of action for financial planners in 2022, the year to come?
This is not just financial planners. I think because the government has put in a lot of efforts to help those who have fallen into the below income group, the lower income group. So they're working very hard to help them. Planners' role is to help the M40 to stay and grow, and perhaps those on the upper of the lower income group to move back up and climb back up, and put them back into the medium income group level. This would be something that we will need to do moving forward. As job opportunities open, people start getting jobs. And this is something which I have seen, and I think perhaps you might have seen, and so does other financial planners. For the hardcore poor, if you want to help them get out of poverty, it's not giving them money or teaching them financial literacy. You need to first tweak their mindset about money first. Then only you give them financial literacy, then it works. Whereas if you get people who come from a medium income group and they drop into the lower income group, it's easier to help them to move up because they've been there, they know. And if they want to move back up again, they will take every opportunity that you can offer them in terms of financial literacy, in terms of financial aid, any help to move back up again. And it's easier. We've seen it during normal time before pandemic. And I think with the pandemic, I see people making a lot of effort to see how they can get back on track again. And this is where planners play a role.
Yes. So how can, I guess, because it's very interesting to see that the financial planners are getting more recognized for the work that they do and for the opportunities that they can give for their clients. So I guess before we end the show, Linnet, what would be your advice for financial planners who are listening, especially the financial planners in Malaysia who are listening right now to the show?
Well, my message, my power message for the end of the week, as well as for this podcast, will be stay true to yourself. Integrity, as well as best practices, is what you need to arm yourself to help your clients, and they need you more now than ever. It's a sunrise industry. Stay put and get more people to join you to become financial planners.
All right. Thanks so much, Linnet. Yes, definitely. I agree with your message. And I love that you always instill professionalism and ethics to financial planners, because it is important for more people to believe in the industry as well. So thank you so much for coming into the show and for giving um, your good news and very hopeful news to the industry, and helping more people become financially literate and get their money together, so that we can all succeed. So thank you so much. And oh, before we end, where can people reach you if they want to get to know you more, if they want to have a conversation with you?
I have a Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Just type in Linvest, Linvest, one word. Linvest, Linnet, Linnet.
All right, wonderful. I will add that to the description of this podcast or the show notes. And yes, so if you want to reach Linnet, if you have a question for her, especially on the financial planning side in Malaysia, please get in touch with her. And again, Linnet, thank you so much for coming into the show. Have a good one.
Thank you. Wonderful weekend to all, and thank you, Gwen.
Bye.